Hey, welcome back to another episode of Elevate with CJ. I'm your host, CJ, and today I want to take you behind the scenes of something most people never think about: how small changes in the words they use and the questions they ask themselves can completely change their lives. If you've ever struggled with doubt, fear, or feeling stuck, today's video will open your eyes and maybe even your future. You know, success isn't just about working harder, it's about thinking differently. And so much of that comes down to the words we say to others and especially to ourselves. When you say things like, "I'm terrible at this," or "I always mess up," or "I could never do that," you're literally programming your mind to believe you're stuck, broken, or incapable. But when you shift words you use, when you start saying, "I'm learning," "I'm improving," or "I'm building the skills I need," you unlock growth you didn't even know you had inside of you. And one of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make is gratitude, being deeply thankful for where you are right now. Even if your income isn't where you want it to be yet, be grateful that you have an income at all. Be grateful for the roof over your head. Be grateful for the food in your belly. Be grateful for the opportunities, even small ones, that you have today. When you recognize and appreciate what you already have, it changes something inside of you. You stop operating from desperation or frustration, and you start building from a place of strength, hope, and momentum. And here's the beautiful part. When greater things come, when your income grows, when your wealth increases, you don't take it for granted. You feel a deep pride because you know what it took to get there. It wasn't handed to you, you earned it. And because you were faithful with little, now you're trusted with much. And you're able to enjoy it fully, debt-free, stress-free, and with a grateful heart. Gratitude for the small creates capacity for the great. That's why mindset shifts matter. So what exactly is a mindset shift? A mindset shift is a simple but powerful change in how you frame, word, or approach a situation. It's the difference between being trapped and being free. First, let's talk about deep gratitude. I worked with a pastor named Daniel, and one of the first mindset shifts we worked on was moving beyond surface gratitude. At first, like a lot of people, Daniel would just list a few things. I'm thankful for my church, I'm thankful for my family, thankful for my wife. That's good, but it stays shallow. It doesn't connect deeply enough to change how you feel and how you lead. So I challenged him, pick one thing you're thankful for and go deeper. Not just, I'm thankful for my church, but I'm thankful for how our church family grew by 10 families this last year. Or, I'm thankful for the sense of unity that's stronger today than it was a year ago. Or, I'm thankful for the new building upgrades that make people feel more welcome. Specific gratitude builds powerful momentum. And you can do the same thing in business. It's not just saying, I'm thankful for my employees. It's asking yourself, which employees specifically? What have they accomplished since joining our team? How has my office or my work environment changed because of their contributions? What improvements have we made, even small ones, like painting the walls, upgrading the carpets, creating a more welcoming environment? Gratitude grows when you notice progress. Be grateful for the customers you have. If you don't know how many customers you have, go find out and be thankful for each and every one of them. Be grateful for the continued flow of income and even be grateful for the problems you didn't have. I'm grateful we didn't lose all our clients during those hard times. I'm grateful we've kept moving forward through challenges. And don't just stop at the present. Be grateful in advance for what's coming. I'm grateful for the new customers we are about to receive. I'm grateful for the opportunities that are heading my way. When you stack gratitude like that, specific, real, detailed gratitude, it changes your energy, it changes your leadership, it changes your life. Gratitude for what is, for what isn't, and for what's coming, that's how you build an unstoppable mindset. Secondly, let's talk about reframing actions to reduce fear. You know, a lot of the anxiety we feel about taking action comes from the labels we put on things. I worked with a pastor who was struggling to get his congregation excited about sharing the gospel door to door. The way it was being presented was, we're going soul winning. And while that's a powerful mission, the way it was worded created a lot of fear, pressure, and nervousness for the people who were going out. So I suggested a mindset shift. What if we stopped calling it soul winning and started calling it helping out the community? Same action, same purpose, but the mindset totally changed. Instead of feeling pressure to win something, people felt empowered to go serve and to help. And you can apply this same exact mindset shift in business as well. Let's say you're leading a sales team. Instead of telling your team, you need to go make cold calls. What if you said, today we're reaching out to future customers to help them to solve real problems? We're not just telemarketing, we're offering solutions. We're not making cold calls, we're connecting with people who need our service. When you change the words, you change the energy. And when you change the energy, you unlock action without the fear and resistance. Third, let's talk about scaling success through 10x thinking. Another mindset shift I teach a lot, especially to business owners, is based on the 10x rule. The idea is simple. If you can do something at one level, you can multiply it. You just have to expand the process. Let's say you're running a business and you figured out how to gain 30 customers a month. You have a system that works. Now here's the mindset shift. What would it take to gain 300 customers a month? Most people think the problem is whether or not it's possible, but the real question is, how do I expand my process? You already have the foundation, it's about scaling it. You need to find more of the right people. You need access to the funding or cash flow to fuel bigger growth. Or maybe you need to bundle your services so customers prepay for 3, 6, or 12 months in advance, giving you an upfront cash flow. You can create annual packages instead of month to month, which can massively speed up your cash flow and stability. Or you can create a subscription or VIP service that adds to the total ticket price, which in turn adds to retention so that you're not losing customers on the back end. You can create exponential wealth in a very short period of time, not because you're working harder, but because you're thinking bigger and structuring smarter. And this principle applies to personal investing too. If you want to grow your wealth faster, sometimes it's not about gambling on risky investments. It's simply about maxing out what you already have available to you. Are you maxing out your 401k every year? Are you fully funding your Roth IRA? Are you maxing out your health savings account and investing that money? Are you taking advantage of every opportunity to compound your savings? It's not just thinking bigger, it's acting bigger, consistently. The process that can get you 10 customers can get you 100 if you have the courage to expand. That's real 10x thinking. Finishing up, let's talk about where focus goes, energy flows. Another mindset shift I teach comes straight from something I learned years ago from Tony Robbins, and it's stuck with me ever since. I remember a conversation I had with one of my mentees, Michael. He was sitting in his office, overwhelmed, focusing on everything that could possibly go wrong with his business and his marketing efforts. So I told him, let's do a quick exercise. I said, look around the room and find everything that's brown. He spent about 15 seconds scanning the room and looking for everything that was brown. Then I said, okay, close your eyes. Now tell me what's red in the room. He immediately went, red? I thought you said brown. I said, yeah, I said look for brown, but so tell me what's red. And he said, I don't know. And when he opened his eyes, he saw all kinds of things that were red that he had missed because he wasn't looking for them. The lesson is simple but powerful. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, what's broken, that's all you'll see. You'll magnify the problem until it feels too big to solve. But if you train yourself to look for the good, the opportunities, the possibilities, you start to see solutions you couldn't see before. And this principle applies to business too. Take lead generation. If you're sitting around thinking, we don't have enough leads, we're doomed, it's always slow this time of year, your mind shuts down, your focus lacks, and you feel stuck. But if you shift the question to, how can we create more leads? Now your brain starts working for you instead of against you. Maybe you realize you can go back to the current customers and simply ask, who are 3 people closest to you who could benefit from what we do? Instead of asking vague questions like, hey, do you know anyone? Which usually gets you no results. You ask specific, actionable, positive questions that spark a real answer from your customer. Maybe you realize you can improve customer loyalty first, because happy customers refer more customers. So now the question becomes, how do we better serve the clients we already have? How do we make them raving fans? Better questions create better focus. Better focus creates better actions. Better actions create better results. It all starts with what you choose to see. One of the things I like to say when I'm overwhelmed or I feel like I'm going in the wrong direction is this: things always work out for me. This positive mindset frees me to keep moving forward, knowing that it will all work out for me in the end. I want to pause for just a second and go a little bit deeper here, because words matter more than most people realize. Every time you put yourself down, Even casually, you're reinforcing chains that hold you back. When you say things like, I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, I'll never get it right. These aren't harmless sentences, they are mental shackles. But here's the great news. The same way you build those chains with words, you can break those chains with words. When you start speaking life over yourself and say things like, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm capable, God has a plan for me, you open the door to strength, courage, and possibility. Now I want to share with you a little insight into my early life. It's a little embarrassing, but it's real. When I was younger, I wasn't the most confident guy. I was a little awkward, I had pimples, felt uncomfortable in my own skin. And somewhere along the way, partly joking, partly serious, I started standing in front of the mirror every morning and saying out loud, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're a good-looking man. At first, I think I started doing it just to make my wife laugh. But I kept doing it every morning. And you know what? Over time, it worked. I built my self-confidence. It shaped how I saw myself. It shaped how I carried myself. Now, yeah, it might sound vain or goofy, but there's a truth underneath it. When you believe you're valuable, you act valuable. When you carry yourself with confidence, other people notice. I genuinely believe you could be the most awkward or unattractive person in the world by society standards, but if you walk with purpose, confidence, and belief in who you are, you'll shine brighter than most people around you. It all starts with the words you tell yourself. Words shape your world. Choose them wisely. Here are some key phrases you can start using today to shift your mindset. If I were thinking 10x bigger, what would I do? What's the real win I'm aiming for? How would the future me respond to this? Is this busy work or breakthrough work? If fear wasn't a factor, what would I choose? Small shifts equal big results. Let's wrap up this video. At the end of the day, your words shape your world. If you speak defeat, you live in defeat. If you speak growth, you grow. If this video spoke to you, if it opened your eyes even a little, imagine what it would be like to have someone help you think like this consistently. That's what we do at Elevate with CJ. We don't just set goals, we change the way you think. We help you build the life, the wealth, the confidence you were made for, from the inside out. If you're ready to take a step into that kind of future, go to elevatewithcj.com and check it out. I'd love to help you climb higher. Let's elevate together. Elevate with CJ.